As young warriors, Castor and Orson had been part of the Bloodstars, a special band of stalkers charged with hunting down the demon Spartans. Their leader had been a member of the Sangheli Silent Shadow, a first blade of exceptional skill and devotion who had once led Castor, Orson, and their war brother Atriox on a raid that resulted in the capture of an entire squad of orbital drop shock troopers. The 3-day interrogation that followed had revealed many things, but the most surprising had been a rumor that the UNSC had to steal exceptional children from their homes to develop them into the demon Spartans. That had surprised Castor more than anything, for on Doisak, a family would have been honored to surrender a child for the glory of the tribe. Hello all, hope you're doing well. Today, we're covering more information from Silent Storm, which will also be compared and contrasted with the quoted passage of Troy Denning's previous work in the Halo franchise. In the portion of Silent Storm written from the perspective of the Covenant fleet of inexorable obedience, we're given plenty of new details on the Silent Shadow Spec Ops unit, and what appear to be their underlings, the Bloodstars. The Silent Shadow were a group of exceptional Sangheli assassins, under the direction of the Covenant hierarchs, and were additionally used for various covert operations. As for the Bloodstars, we knew they were primarily composed of brutes, but now we also know that there were some Kigyar within their ranks, at least temporarily. Both the Silent Shadow and the Bloodstars wore deep red armor, described as being almost black. In Silent Storm, it's mentioned that John and the Spartans encountered a few jackals outfitted in this same deep red armor. They possessed energy gauntlets like normal Kigyar infantry. It's unknown what exact criteria is required for jackals to become Bloodstars, only that these were among the Covenant invasion fleet's best warriors sent to hunt down Spartans, so it is possible that they were merely attached to the Bloodstars for that purpose. But they didn't end up being very effective against the Spartans. All 4 of them, only 4 were seen, were killed while their unit was trying to recover a crashed prowler. In the book, John observes that the Silent Shadow elites were leading a squad of Bloodstars, which is consistent with Covenant hierarchy at the time. If I had to speculate, I would say that the jackals were most likely below the brutes in rank, but this isn't confirmed or stated anywhere. We're given a lot of information on the first blade who led Castor and Orson, Tel Szatulai. Castor described him as being of exceptional skill and devotion. We see this firsthand in Silent Storm. Brief note, Szatulai's armor, unlike the dark crimson of Silent Shadow second blades and Bloodstars, was a unique indigo color. As for his attributes, he was usually very deliberately minded, though when dealing with any perceived incompetence from others, he struggled to keep his irritation from hindering his tactical thinking. He was at least adept in dealing with petulant Sanshayom officials without killing them. Szatulai was an experienced warrior, having killed 27 brutes during his military career, which is nothing to scoff at considering the sheer strength of an individual brute. We are told that his rank as a First Blade meant he was tasked with leading reconnaissance on human-controlled worlds, and he was given command of an entire flotilla of Bloodstar intrusion corvettes. He spent plenty of time observing humans, learning about their culture, languages, and of course military power. And he was the first one to negotiate in a very taciturn way with insurrectionists. With the onset of Operation Silent Storm, this First Blade quickly realized that humans are shrewd and not to be underestimated. His final moments came in a close-quarters fight with the Master Chief himself, but his death wasn't for lack of tenacity. He actually grappled with John for a few moments, and was even able to injure the Spartan's neck with an energy sword, but Szatulai lost an arm, then a foot, and was finally dispatched by a shotgun blast to the face, courtesy of Kelly 087. Tel Szatulai died at the age of 60, young for a Sangheli. Now we come to one of the more intriguing parts of Silent Storm. During the Battle of Baiko, at some point between March 20th and March 26, 2526, Covenant forces captured Black Dagger ODSTs aboard the vessel Purifying Flame. Tel Szatulai was the one to report this, considering that he and his best warriors were tasked with hunting down the Spartans, who were expected to try to infiltrate the Covenant fleet, and the fact that only the 21st Black Daggers were available for boarding offensive during the battle, and also that Bloodstars Castor and Orson were allowed to interrogate the prisoners, we can safely assume that the Silent Shadow and their affiliates were the ones who captured those unfortunate Black Daggers. This is where a comparison with Troy Denning's earlier work in Halo Retribution comes into play. In the quote at the beginning of this video, Castor gives a very similar account of an interrogation of ODSTs. Both accounts involve the Brute and his war brother Orson as the interrogators, and both accounts state that the ODSTs eventually divulged information on the Spartans. In Szatulai's account, the prisoners identified themselves as belonging to the 21st ODST Space Assault Battalion, gave the names of the 12 Spartans attached to the 21st, and spoke of Task Force Yama. Castor merely says that his interrogation revealed many things, but what specifically interested him was the rumors about the Spartans' abduction during early childhood. It may be that the Jiralhanae didn't bother telling their First Blade about the abduction rumors, as it could have seemed a rather unimportant detail. Probably the biggest point of contention, if any, between the two accounts, is Castor's comment that he, Orson, and Atriox were led on a raid which ended in a squad of ODSTs being captured. Szatulai says that the Black Daggers were captured aboard a Covenant ship. So, would the Coveys raid one of their own ships? I think there are two explanations for this. One, a raid is defined as a sudden attack on an enemy by troops, aircraft, or other armed forces in warfare. The Oxford American Dictionary defines a raid as a sudden attack on an enemy. A raid therefore does not have to be conducted in enemy territory, just on enemy units. And two, from a meta perspective, it's quite possible that Castor's account in Retribution was just given more depth in Silent Storm as a nod to the former, especially since both books share the same author. And before you ask, where was Atriox in Silent Storm? Well, as the saying goes, absence of evidence is not necessarily evidence of absence. He certainly could have been present at the Battle of Baiko, but just wasn't mentioned. Maybe for the fact that Silent Storm is already packed with references to other lore. But I have been enjoying all of those references and nods to existing fiction, especially because it's so early in the Human Covenant conflict. Plus, it's always cool to see that conflict from both sides. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and hit that subscribe button. Comment down below if there's another area of the Halo universe that you'd like me to cover next, or if I should continue covering Silent Storm. As always, until next time.